Hi guys, I hope you're all well. So as you've probably seen quite recently, I've been painting up a lot of miniatures like this for the game Pillage. And yeah, I've been painting, well, so many, it's ridiculous. And obviously I love painting. There's a big difference when it comes to painting, sort of batch painting loads of these miniatures to painting single miniatures. Obviously with the batch ones, I am sort of trying to get through them as quick as I can. But I do like painting miniatures, well, just for the fun of it. Painting miniatures that aren't actually used in any games, and that's exactly what I've done today. And I painted this lovely big sort of ogre troll kind of dude. Had a lot of fun with him because obviously when you just paint one miniature at a time, you do spend a little bit more time on it, and yeah, you kind of enjoy it so much more. So this is the guy I'm going to show how I painted in this miniature. So obviously this guy is 3D printed, and this is from a new Kickstarter that started, well, only a few days ago. There's links down below, guys. This was done by Infernal Miniatures. This is the Ogre Mercenary Company 2. So obviously, as the name describes, there is an Ogre Mercenary Company 1. So I'll leave all links down below as well, so you can go and check out Infernal Company's previous Kickstarters. But I'm sure you'll agree, like me, tons of lovely looking miniatures, great detail, really well sculpted. And to say, I've always loved muscular or large, round sort of figures, probably because I'm a bit sort of the same, although not quite as muscular as I once was. So yeah, so I really like the idea of painting one of these up. I was lucky to get the STLs ahead of time, and yeah, I chose the troll just because, well, he is nice and big and chunky, and I do like messing about with skin tones every now and then. So that's exactly what I'm going to be doing with this guy. Stick around to see how I painted him because I've done him a little bit different to the norm. It's not sort of Slapchop and it's not Zenithal. It's a bit of a mix of, well, all kinds of things really. And this is where, again, having sort of just doing one miniature, having a bit of a play around and having a bit of fun is really good because obviously it means we can just mess about and, well, try out some new things. So obviously I've downloaded the STL and I am going to be sort of obviously printing it out. One thing I didn't mention, obviously, yeah, these guys very modular. You get the bodies, you get the heads, the arms, which we all like because then we can just sort of mix and match and make things exactly, well, how we want. So I'm going to be printing these out on the Halo X1. Obviously, you've seen me use this quite a lot recently. I've got two resins now. I've got the standard resin, which is one I've been using for most of all the miniatures that I've been doing in the past. But I've just been sent a new one, and that's the ABS like 2.0. I'll be using that in the next video, so keep an eye out for that one. But this one, I'm going to be sticking with the 16K resin. So I've been using 3D printers now for about 4 years, and I'm still amazed that I can just print off whatever I want in my own home. Yeah, I really am a big kid, and I see this as having a toy shop at home, and yeah, absolutely love it. So this is the obviously the trial that I'm going to be doing. Because of a variety of heads, again, a lot of modular stuff by Infernal Miniatures. So yeah, definitely check them out, and they are on say my mini factory. I'll leave loads of links down below so you can sort of find out more as well as links to obviously the Halo. Say I'm using the X1. I've been using this for a long time now, and absolutely love it. Yeah, never have any issues. Obviously, love the fact that it's got the VAT tray that goes up, which is a bit different, and obviously I've got flappy paddles on the side of the build plate, which again is just it just makes things so much easier to pop the miniatures or whatever you printed off. As you can see, yeah, 5 years on YouTube, and sometimes I still put the camera in the wrong place, so I can't always see or show what I'm doing. But you get the gist of it. So there you go. The miniatures are now come off. I've just recently been sent a wash and cure station by Creality, which is pretty cool. So I'll be using that in future ones. But I obviously washed and cured this in an old vat thing for the moment. So choice of heads. Yeah, I printed them all out because I wasn't too sure. But then I remembered I can't paint eyes for Toffee, so it's not worth doing the ones with the eyes because I'd make him look well boss-eyed. So I'm going to use the one with the helmet. So my usual painting handles, yeah, they're a little bit small, but again, this is where 3D printers, you can just print things whatever size you want. So I just sort of upscaled me little painting handle, and now it's a big painting handle. So good old double-sided tape, although I did put a little dab of glue underneath. Just because this guy is quite tall, I thought if I start messing about, he will fall off. So started with priming in black, and then this is where I thought, no, let's have some fun. So we're going to change that, and I'm going to do, well, different colors. So I've now primed him in purple. Yep, that well-known priming color that we always use. Again, this is where it's good to have fun, mess about, try new things, because obviously that's how we all learn, by trying new things and, well, just sort of seeing what happens. So the paints that I've been using, or the primer I've been using for, this has got to be about 3 years at least now, is by the Colour Forge. They do a huge range of colours. I mean, I initially got into using their paints because the matte black really is, well, a matte black. I've used some primers before, and their matte blacks are a little bit on the shiny side, whereas the Colour Forge ones, yeah, their colours are awesome. So as you can see, I've done zenithal highlighting. So highlighting from above, as in you spraying the yellow there from above, so it hits the top bits, but all the underneath bits, yeah, they're still purple. Again, this was just for fun, and I just wanted to try different things out. Look, when you then use speed paints over the top, it will vary the color of the speed paints. And then I thought to top things off, let's give it a dry brush with white. Again, just so there's some really nice highlights for those speed paints to be a nice vibrant color. But then we've also then got obviously the two different priming colors underneath. So yeah, again, it's just a bit of fun, try new things, because this is where we do things. If it works out really, really well, it's like, oh yeah, I'll do that again and again and again. And this is where it is nice to have a break from painting miniatures that I actually use in games to just painting a miniature purely for the fun. You can tell, guys, this bit is sped up by quite a lot. I like to think I am quite a fast painter, but yeah, not quite this fast. But yeah, so dry brushing all over. Again, I love how he looks. I can almost say he's done there because it's just got a nice variation or a few shades of colours going on. Obviously, this guy is not wearing much, so there's not going to be too many colours involved in the painting of this anyway. But as you can see in the background there, I've picked out the paints that I think I'm going to use. I don't always do this, but sometimes it is cool to sort of pick out the paints before you actually use them, just so you can sort of see, well, kind of like how they look beside each other. As with all the speed paints and sort of dipping inks that I use, I do paint all the lids. Obviously, this is a great way of seeing exactly how the color comes out. I think most of the paints do come out the color they look, but there are a couple that are, well, they're completely different. I think there's one, I think it's like a sand color on the bottle. When it comes out, it's like a darker brown. But that's me waffling on about something else. So yeah, just paint the speed paints over the top. Again, speed paints, big game changer for me when it comes to painting miniatures because they really do all the hard work. Even if I hadn't messed about doing a different kind of priming and the dry brushing, and I just painted this guy or primed the guy in just white, yeah, speed paints would have done all the work. They would have pulled in the recesses, given it a nice sort of darker look, and would be lighter in these sort of raised, flatter areas. Again, it's all about getting contrast in the painting. I think this is why I didn't used to like painting miniatures when I first started, because I was using obviously block colours. I was no good at doing highlights or feathering or any of that kind of malarkey. So yeah, my miniatures would come out looking like they look like a kid's toy. Well, a badly painted kid's toy with just block solid colours. Whereas speed paints are obviously awesome, as well as using the washes. Washes are great as well because obviously they again cool in the recesses, the nooks and the crannies. You get them darker areas, which then gives you obviously lighter areas where it's not a nook or cranny. Um, and yeah, again, get a nice little contrast, and it makes things sort of pop. I say these miniatures, yeah, Infernal Miniatures have done an awesome job here. I mean, this guy obviously he's just got a lot of skin, but even in the skin, there's a lot of detail, some folds. Obviously, you can see some muscles coming through, even some veins are sort of popping through. So yeah, really well sculpted. Again, guys, links down below. Really appreciate it if you go and check all the links out because obviously that's how this sort of channel survives and how I can keep making things is by yeah getting all these lovely people to sort of send me stuff, promote stuff, and then yeah, you guys check them out. So obviously say this guy is fairly simple in colours. Yeah, the silver and the copper there, they were just sort of normal plain colours. Just because the ones I have got that are speed paints, they're all right, but I typically go over them with a wash. Well, anyway. So yeah, just got to do his sort of well, his weapon, which is more like a tree trunk here. This guy say he's printed out at normal scale, but he is a troll, which is why if you were to field him on, well, any kind of like D&D board or any kind of board where, well, a troll would sort of fit. I'm not too sure how well he would go with pillage, because as far as I recall, I don't think there were any trolls around back in the sort of well, medieval times or any times really. So yeah, obviously he's got some he has got some shields though on his arms. I do love this. He's got obviously normal sized shields, but to him they're, well, they're not quite going to really protect him much. And then last couple of little bits need to do. Obviously, he's paint his little toes. But this is where I will be using a wash in a minute, because obviously his toes look far too clean and manicured at the moment. So we do need to sort of dirty them up, because I'm sure the troll won't look as neat as this. But say it is fun though to paint a single miniature, have fun with it, and yeah, try different sort of things out. Obviously, I do paint a lot of miniatures on my channel that I do play with in a game. But yeah, this chap is purely for fun. So we're going to go over with a red wash. I've done this kind of thing in the past where I find the red wash over skin. It just does something to it, and it just gives it an extra sort of pop. Again, this is going to really pull in the nooks and crannies. So I have to admit, whenever I use washes, guys, yeah, use extreme caution when you do it. I think I bathe my miniatures rather than give them the wash. Sometimes I do put quite a lot on, but again, it's because it pulls in the recesses, and I just love that high contrast that it gives. And you'll definitely be able to see that in his toes here. Obviously, pulling it in between each of the toes, and obviously the bits on his toes. That's all, well, I'm not too sure what they're called, but there's bones in there. Anyway, waffling on. But say, love how this looks. This is what I've done quite a few times. Again, this is where I did it by, not by accident the first time, but I thought I'd give it a go. Really love it, and it's now kind of what I do quite a lot with skin. And well, unless I'm painting an army, then I wouldn't mess about doing the additional wash. I would just leave it as the skin one. So the last thing to do, obviously, got to do the skulls and any sort of bones on him. Didn't want to go over that with a red wash, because that would just look, well, a bit weird. So that I am actually going to go over with a black wash. Probably one of the few times I actually use black washes, because I always find black washes make things look just dirty. So typically I would go like a brown, a sepia sort of color, just as I prefer the look of them, because they make things look a little bit old, a little bit worn, but not dirty. But in this case, yeah, the black doesn't look too bad on the bone, and his obviously his copper helmet. And as you can see, yeah, I'm glad I didn't go with the head, because yeah, been painting for like 5 years, still can't do eyes. And I even had to go doing his eye in there. I painted a bit of white and then got a little marker pen and did a dot. And still think it looks weird, even though he's only got one eye. It still doesn't look right. But there we go. That's him done. Absolutely love how he's come out. I say that extra little wash over the top really does make things pop. And yeah, love the sort of the contrast look of the skin. So guys, hope you enjoyed the video. So I do enjoy doing these little one-offs every now and then. Although saying that, I have got another one-off coming up soon. Yeah, something I'm really excited to paint. But for me, this is all done. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. So check out Infernal Miniatures down below, their new Kickstarter, as well as their older stuff. And don't forget to check out the Halo X1. This is a printer I've been using for a good, I don't know, 6 months, a year, but definitely for the last 3-4 months, it has been churning out miniatures no end, and has been working perfectly. Okay, guys, another video coming up on the screen. Give that a click, see more of what I do. Yeah, like, share, subscribe, leave comments. You guys take care. See you in the next one. Bye now.